was a day of devastation that brought a community together. 1 year later, live from the heart of West Alabama, a WVUA special report, Rebuilding Tuscaloosa.
Tuscaloosa's Forest Lake neighborhood took a direct hit from the April 27th tornado. Today we take a close look at where the community stands now, almost 1 year later.
Plus, how doctors and nurses at DCH Regional Medical Center became heroes that day in just a matter of minutes.
Thanks for joining us. I'm Philip Coleman.
And I'm Lauren Brooks. We are joining you live from the Forest Lake community in Tuscaloosa as we continue our special coverage leading up to the 1 year mark of the April 27th tornado.
As we draw closer to that 1 year milestone of the tornado, all week long we will bring you special live coverage from the various locations along the path of the storm. And today we focus on the areas in and around the Forest Lake neighborhood, which is just off 15th Street, a major thoroughfare here in the Druid City.
And we have video of what this area looked like on the day that the storms rolled through. Just moments after the tornado came through this area, it left behind battered homes, the lake, of course, filled with debris. People were walking around with what little they had left. Some had lost their homes. A lot of businesses you recognize were hit as well. Some very familiar names: Mike and Ed's Barbecue, Gilda's Salon, Emergicare, also McAllister's. Just a few of the very popular places along 15th Street that were damaged in the storms.
And 1 year later, cleanup crews are preparing to remove debris from the lake. And some residents who lost their homes started the process of rebuilding. But there are still some places where there are no signs of rebuilding. And take a look at this safe room. It was completed just before the tornado, and it's the only thing that was left when the storm hit of this one particular family's home, and is still here standing 1 year later. And one group of people that sprang right into action directly after the tornado, helping to attend to the needs of people, were the doctors and nurses of DCH Regional Medical Center.
That is so true. DCH Regional Medical Center narrowly missed a direct hit, and then right after the storm passed through, it was chaotic at DCH. And nurses and doctors spoke to us about what they remember about that day. They also told our Lindsay Price what they remember about those patients.
Through the windows of DCH Regional Medical Center, it looked like the massive tornado was headed straight for the hospital. At the last minute, the storm took a turn. The hospital was left standing, but soon it was right in the eye of the storm.
And we heard report that we were getting 3 children in from a scene, and unfortunately they showed up and were all 3 dead. And that really kind of set the tone as to what the day was going to be like.
Along with patients, hospital staff began pouring in.
And he said, "Well, where are you trying to go?" I said, "To the hospital or to the emergency room." He says, "Do you have a badge?" I said, "In my car." He said, "Well, get it." So I went back to my car and got my badge, and they let me come straight through.
As soon as I came through the doors, it was just people everywhere, and the lights were out, and we were running on the backup power, and it was just very chaotic, and I was just trying to find where I needed to be.
That's just what we do. If there is anything that's going on that we feel like we need to be here, any major disaster, we all come. That's just what we do. We take care of each other.
Doctors and nurses soon found themselves dealing with hundreds of patients at once.
And we'd say, "Okay, anybody who can walk, get off and come over here." And all those folks would kind of amble over, and we'd say, "All right, you're going to go to this area and be seen," and we'd direct them where they were going. And then, the ambulance would start unloading the folks that were on stretchers, and I would take a quick look at them and decide, okay, is this somebody who needs the trauma bay right now, is in imminent danger of dying, or is this somebody who just needs an ER bed for further evaluation?
You'd have a rush of probably about 8 or 9 coming in the ambulance entrance, and then you'd have probably like 10 more coming in through the front door, and it was just continuous.
One of the first major traumas we saw, who was very injured, and we all were very concerned that he wasn't going to make it, and he didn't make it. And I can still remember seeing the look on his face that day.
The doctors and nurses say people who needed so much wanted to take very little.
She's like, "Just take care of him, don't worry about me, I can walk," and she was more concerned about her neighbor, than herself.
They waited till the weekend to start coming back, and some of them were really sick and needed to have come 2 or 3 days earlier, but they said they knew we were really busy and they didn't come.
Who knows what the billing would have been, but we didn't bill people. You know, I'm sure some people were billed, but for the majority of folks, especially the folks who came in and then left, there are a number of those folks who, you know, we just saw and took care of.
Nothing you've ever seen before. Nothing I've ever seen before, and I've been an ER nurse for 23 years.
In Tuscaloosa, Lindsay Price, WVUA News.
And you can also see lots more in-depth stories from DCH tonight on our special presentation of Faces of the Storm. Today we're coming to you from the Forest Lake community, not very far from here, Philip, Hargrove Road.
And that's where many homes, apartments, and some churches were in the direct path of that tornado on that dreadful day. And driving along Hargrove Road today, you can still see the aftermath of the path of the tornado. While there is some new construction to be seen of some new homes along the way, you can still see many of the signs of the devastation. The Central Church of Christ was among those buildings that took a direct hit on that day. Also several nearby homes as well.
And now 12 months later, Hargrove Road, very different. Construction crews now laying foundations, also putting up frameworks for brand new homes. And some landmark locations are still making plans to return. So lots of signs of recovery along the Hargrove Road area. And all this week, this entire community is taking the time to remember the people who made such a tremendous difference, and those people that stepped up to the plate and helped others on April 27th.
And that was the focus of a special event held this afternoon right here in Tuscaloosa. The Tuscaloosa Business and Professional Women's Club hosted their annual Spring Scholarship Luncheon today at the Focus on Senior Citizens building in downtown Tuscaloosa. And aside from honoring the scholars, the group also recognized the heroes of the storm. And those people included the first responders, medical professionals. And I was also honored in that I was able to serve as the MC. Appreciate them asking me to do so. That was a wonderful event to participate. And the road to recovery here in West Alabama will be a long road with hundreds of homes and businesses being hit on April 27th.
And Tuscaloosa Mayor Walt Maddox has been out there for almost a year now,
yes,
reminding people it's going to be a process. And he was out at the Tuscaloosa Rotary Club this day releasing some new statistics on business recovery. He says the majority of businesses that were destroyed April 27th have since reopened. He also expressed his feelings on the year mark of the April 27th tornado. Here's what he had to say.
It's emotional because it's impacted so many, and it's also hopeful that we've got a great chance to rewrite our future, to rebuild this city in such a way that really makes sure that no one's sacrificed for naught on that day. And for me, that's what I'm excited about. The 1-year anniversary is important that we mark it, we remember it. But for me, I'm excited well beyond that. And come April 28th, we're going to get right back to work because nothing stops.
You'll be sure to join WVUA all this week as we present a special presentation dedicated to everyone impacted by the storm.
It's our 1-hour-long documentary created by WVUA and also the Center for Public Television. You can see it at 9 p.m. tonight through Thursday. Then on Friday, April 27th, Faces of the Storm will air immediately following our special edition of WVUA News at 6. The presentation takes a look at the people impacted by the storm, their stories of loss, survival, and hope. We also want to mention Faces of the Storm will come to you commercial-free with very special thanks to our partners DCH and Nucor Steel. Still ahead for you here on this special edition of WVUA News at 6.